Fight fans all over the world, it's Daddy P with Slap Happy Gorilla. What? Caleb Plant, David Benavidez. It is what it is. This is fight week. We're coming down the wire. And March the 25th, this is a premier boxing champion event, and it is happening on Showtime Pay-per-view. Listen, Caleb Plant and David Benavidez has been the biggest fight in the 168 division that's been brewing for a long time. Now, yes, we did get to see Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed, and Canelo won. You already know. Caleb Plant is 22-1 with 13 KOs, and that one loss is to Canelo by knockout. But before Canelo ever came into the division, he fought for that WBC strap that he had. He fought for it as a vacant title. It was a vacant title. It was lost by David Benavidez. He did not lose it in the ring. He lost. He had it one time, lost it due to substance abuse, not performance enhancing. It was cocaine. I guess he was partying between fights. Caught up with him. He also lost on the scale. He never lost it in the ring. But Canelo Alvarez was able to fight for that particular belt as a vacant title, and he won. And now he had, and y'all know the story, y'all know the story. He also beat Billy Joe Saunders. So, but anyway, he collected all of the belts except the IBF. Caleb Plant fought him with the IBF, and he fought. Canelo had the other three belts: WBO, WBC, WBO, WBC, and WBA. So Caleb Plant had the IBF. They fought for undisputed. Caleb Plant lost. Canelo knocked him out. Now, the reason why this particular fight is so, before Canelo Alvarez ever came to this division, Caleb Plant and David Benavidez was the most talked about fight for the 168-pound division. Listen. David Benavidez has called out Caleb Plant for a number of times. But, to Caleb Plant's defense, Caleb Plant had other options, and he, like I said, he had an opportunity to fight Canelo. It was a time or two when David Benavidez brought to the table that he wanted to fight Caleb Plant. But at the time, David Benavidez didn't have a title. Like I said, he lost his titles, So, Caleb Plant wanted to fight for titles. He got an opportunity to fight Canelo. He did. But now the time has come for Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. Now, I did a video about David Benavidez. It rubbed some people the wrong way, I guess, especially Caleb Plant fans, because of the title of the video. If you watch the video, I never gave my opinion as to who would win the fight. I only said what David Benavidez said. But David Benavidez said he would knock out Caleb Plant within 6 rounds. I questioned that, and then I did some statistical analysis, how David Benavidez does through 6 rounds. And I also used, for an example, a fighter that was the pupil of the same trainer that Caleb Plant has right now. Steven Breadman Edwards also had a pupil by the name of Kyron Davis, who David Benavidez beat via 7th round TKO. Kyron Davis didn't quit. Steven Breadman Edwards threw in the towel. He saved him from himself. Kyron Davis is a dog. Kyron Davis continued to fight through to the end until they threw in the towel. he was never going to quit. And, you know, I kind of used that as an example. But whatever is whatever. I told you guys to stay tuned for the Caleb Plant video, and this is it. I'm not going to do statistical analysis for Caleb Plant, because for what I believe, what Caleb Plant has to do to win this fight has nothing to do with statistics. You know, I know numbers don't lie. I know all of that. But to me, my opinion, Caleb Plant has to win this fight for what's on the inside of him. Now, I know that he's a highly trained athlete. I know he just went in and he said himself he had a very good training camp. We know Caleb Plant is a boxer. We know that he has a good jab. We know that he is slick. We know that he has lateral movement. All of those things are going to have a part to play in the beginning round. But I think this fight is going deep. This fight is going deep. I believe, you know. I believe this fight is going beyond. I believe this fight can go as far as the championship rounds. And I think that if Caleb Plant is going to win this fight, it's going to be because he allowed the dog that's in him to come out. You know, I've never seen that. I've never seen Caleb Plant have to really bite down and use that that dog. You know, I haven't seen that. Now, of course, he knocked out Anthony Durrell in a very savage fashion. That, to me, was the knockout of the year. But that fight, if you watch it, it wasn't about who was the dog. It was they both were fighting with emotion, and it was a wrestling match. You know, they threw each other to the ground a few times, and the ref had to continue to break them up. They were doing all kind of like stuff. It wasn't pure boxing, you know, and I think it was because it was you know, emotions involved. There was a pretty outspoken press conferences, a few of them, you know. But I mean, this fight as well, y'all know the trash talk that's been, y'all seen from the kickoff press all the way up until now. It has been words passed back and forth between Caleb Plant and David Benavidez. But I believe this is going to be a different fight. I believe this is a different fight for both guys. For David Benavidez, it's not just about being able to fight Canelo Alvarez for undisputed. Because for David Benavidez, he has been asking for this fight over and over and over. And Caleb Plant, I think it's the same thing. It's not just about being able to fight Canelo again. And I know he wants to fight Canelo again. He said as much time and time again. But for this particular fight, it's not just about him being able to fight Canelo Alvarez again. I think he needs and wants to prove, not only to the public, but to himself, that he can beat and be the elite guy at 168 pounds. Doing that, you have to see David Benavidez. Same thing to me for Canelo Alvarez. You know, whatever happens in this fight, man, for Canelo Alvarez to really know that he knows that if he wants to be known as the top guy in the division, he needs to see David Benavidez. And, you know, he's the monster to me in this division. And it's no two ways about it. The only way that he does not have that WBC strap is because he missed weight one time and because he popped dirty for cocaine one time. That's the only reason why he didn't have those straps. And, you know, Canelo has them because he fought for a vacant title. That's how he got that WBC strap. But whatever the case may be, this particular fight is a fight that Caleb Plant has to prove to himself that he is a dog. And if he has any dog in him, that is going to have to come out for him to win this fight. Bottom line. Now, in the beginning of the rounds, he's going to have to box well. I mean, in order to make it late into the rounds. That's a given, you know. But the statistical analysis I did for David Benavidez, yes, it proved that David Benavidez does good work at, you know, beginning 6 rounds. But will he knock out Caleb Plant in 6 rounds? I mean, you can't really say that because he's never faced anybody the caliber of a Caleb Plant, you know. But the statistical analysis that I did on David Benavidez, yeah, it was based on numbers. And according to the numbers, even by CompuBox, he's in the CompuBox statistical leaders, you know. For overall punches landed, he was, you know, number 1, I think. And for power shots landed, he was like number 3. But so yeah, but he does do well at the beginning of fights. He has lost mental focus in, you know, fights in the past going into later rounds. And the only reason I say that is because Gavril fought him tough twice. He's one of the guys that Gavril, he never knocked Gavril out. The first time they fought, it was a split decision. The second time they fought, it was a unanimous decision for David Benavidez. But the first time they fought, Gavril knocked him down in the last round. And I think that has to do a little bit with, I mean, you may say fatigue or you may say mental focus a little bit was off, whatever. But this sport is more than just physique. It's more than physical. It's more than mental. It is also a spiritual sport. Whatever's on the inside of you in some fights. Now, some fights, you know, fighters can use their physical prowess, their skill to beat fighters. They can. But some fights come down to who has the bigger dog on the inside of them. That's spiritual. I mean, when all the chips are down, when you get an 11th, 12th round and physically you fatigue, mentally you fatigue, but it's all about who wants it the most and who's willing to go to that extra level in themselves. When it gets down to that, it's about who has the bigger dog on the inside of them. That's spiritual, you know. And of course, I'm not saying you can come into a boxing match overweight, out of shape. No, because that you have to pass the first 6-7 rounds with that. What you train for, it tells on you from the beginning of the fight. If you come in cold, you can get knocked out in the first round. If you come in, you know, you come in good, you know, yeah, your conditioning is gonna take you through that first. But what they call those championship rounds, you know, those championship rounds, they call the championship rounds for a reason. Because the champion in you has to come out. The dog in you has to come out. When all the chips are down. I don't know how those guys used to fight 15 rounds back in the day. You know. Furthermore, when boxing first started, they'd fight till somebody quit or somebody get knocked out. I don't know how that happened. I mean, maybe the adage is true that men had more testosterone, that we're losing throughout the generations, we're losing some of our testosterone. I don't know. Maybe that's a case for that to be true, because I don't know how those guys fought 15 rounds, you know. But 12 rounds, I mean, that's even enough to see who has the bigger dog. And I think in this particular fight, that's what it's going to come down to. For Caleb Plant to win this fight, the dog in him is going to have to come out. That's the bottom line. He's going to have to box well early, and in the later rounds, the dog is going to have to come out. It's going to have to be, this is mine and you cannot take it. You know, that mentality, that's what he's going to have to show. Now, If you would, please. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all my subscribers. I'm right there at around 100 subscribers. I thank you all. And if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, but also hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time new content comes up. I did vow to myself that once I get over 100 subscribers on this channel, I would take it up a notch, putting out more content. I also want to introduce Get This Money. That's going to be something we're going to be doing in the future on this channel. What that's all about is you'll have an opportunity to win $100. Now, that might not be much to some people. To some people it is. But $100 is $100. If you would like to win that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. In the future, when big fights come up, we will pick 2 people, one for each opponent, and it's gonna be picked in a live. I'll start doing lives, and once we pick who's going to go for the prize, it'll be one who's rooting for one guy, one who's rooting for another guy, and you're gonna have to tell how that's gonna happen. Like, if you say the guy's gonna get knocked out, you know, your guy's gonna knock the other guy out, and your guy doesn't knock him out, it goes 12 rounds and he win by decision. I mean, no. You got to say, if he does win by unanimous decision, you said he was gonna win by decision, you'll get $100. If you said he was gonna get knocked out, your guy knocked him out, you'll get $100. That's how it's gonna work. But that's in the future. I still got a ways to go on this channel. This is not my first channel, so I know a little bit about YouTube boxing, but I don't claim to be some big guru. I don't claim to be some guy that knows everything about boxing. I'm just a fan. I heard some people say something about one of my titles. Oh, you don't know nothing about boxing. Hey, that's your opinion. Have at it. I am a boxing fan. All I need to know is how to watch boxing. I know what I'm watching. I might not know as much as some other guys, but I am a true boxing fan. I'm a fan of the sport. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford fan or fanboy or David Benavidez or Caleb Plant fanboy. I am a fan of the sport of boxing. I like good boxing. I want to see Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence get it on. I don't care what happened in the rooms to get them there. I just want to see them get there and fight, you know. But it is what it is. This is Daddy P with Slap Happy Gorilla. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I thank you all that's already subscribed. Daddy P is out of there.